Using the evidence-based approach can be challenging. The major hurdles to adopting an evidence-based approach can be addressed during the planning process. Without proper planning, few initiatives would succeed. These challenges are of a general nature. That is, they are applicable to any organization when adopting the evidence-based approach. We'll look at what makes public health organizations different next. Here are a few of the challenges to look out for when adopting the evidence-based approach. One of the most challenging barriers to successful implementation deals with leadership. Without strong leadership, implementation is doomed to failure. Someone needs to be in charge and will be responsible for the direction of the project. This person, or people, must keep the focus on the evidence. Successful implementation requires commitment from all levels of leadership to increase use of effective interventions. Another issue that should be dealt with early on deals with outside influences. It's no surprise that since we deal with public issues, politics can sometimes play a large role in decision-making. It is the responsibility of leadership to make sure that the politics do not hinder progress. A simple way to combat political derailment is to implement a systematic communication and dissemination strategy. Consider political barriers, but once the project is underway, do not allow others' political agendas to affect your project. Another issue that comes up frequently is not planning for the long term. To avoid this issue, plan for implementation and evaluation before beginning the project. You should adopt and adhere to causal frameworks and formative evaluation plans early. The earlier in the project you do this, the more smoothly the project will proceed. These are a few of the major barriers to successful implementation of an evidence-based approach. Let's take a look at some of the specific challenges for public health. Public health has to deal with several limitations that are specific to our profession. Let's take a look at a few of the most important limitations. Public health is a zero-sum operation. That is, we are not in the business to make money, and much of our funding is acquired through government sources or grants. Because of this, most public health organizations have limited resources, and you can only cut the pie into so many pieces. If someone gets a larger piece, others must get smaller pieces. There is no simple solution to this problem. Sorry. Since most individuals who work in public health do not have a background in public health, on-the-job training is a requirement. Usually this is not a priority, but will ultimately slow progress. What's needed is a wider dissemination of new and established training programs. One way to accomplish this is through the use of distance education. Since the information can be accessed at any time, individuals can retrieve information on an as-needed basis, which is much more efficient than traditional training methods. Along those same lines, the availability of information has changed dramatically. As public health professionals, we need to be able to access and make use of this information. Just like distance education, technology is on our side here. In a future model, we demonstrate how to use internet-based journal search engines to find great evidence. Evidence may not be enough to convince policymakers to support your initiatives. Just because your public health organization has adopted the evidence-based approach does not mean that everyone else has. Remember that local priorities and preferences matter. Try to present your initiatives with an emphasis on the community, backed up by evidence that your solution will work.